Sinners, you've either heard of it or you've heard of it. It's the bee's knees, the fish's eyelashes, and the horse's fingers. This movie is big, like really big. Highest grossing horror movie of the last decade big. I'm sure you've all already noticed the amount of critical acclaim this movie is garnering. It's absurd. It currently sits at a 4.3 on Letterboxd, a score reserved for the top movies ever made. Sinners is a big deal, but is it as good as everyone says? It's a little more complicated than that. This movie has layers upon layers of aspects worth discussing and criticizing. Mostly though, it has things to praise. I don't want to get into any spoilers, but I personally need to say that this movie is not entirely perfect. It's far from it in many aspects we would normally give a movie shit for, but this is a completely different deal. There's a reason why this movie, that in many aspects seems like a weirdly paced and in parts redundantly overstated blockbuster, is one of the most incredible films I've ever seen. For anyone who hasn't seen the movie, go watch it right now. I'm serious. This is a cinema movie. This movie is reserved for the big screen. So big screen, in fact, it was shot on 70mm IMAX, which has 10 copies and 10 theaters supporting it. Also, fuck you, Berlin, for not having any real IMAX showings. The movie is directed by Ryan Coogler of Black Panther and Creed fame. Described as a horror adventure movie, this movie is not really that at all. It's more of a black history horror musical. Not a genre you've heard of? Well, now it is, and I just coined it. As weird and silly as that sounds, it's the exact same uniqueness one needs to frame the movie in to fully understand what it's trying to do. And it's doing a lot of things. To set a standard, I'd say this movie hits a consistent 8 out of 10 scoring throughout. There are no bad scenes. The story is compelling, and even any redundancies in dialogue or premise aren't bad because the direction, actors, and music tie it together so well. Even without the insanely great scenes, this movie is better than Coogler's other work. But there's a reason this film isn't just an 8 out of 10 blockbuster. It's got sauce. It's sprinkled throughout the film. Scenes and sequences so incredibly good, they made my jaw drop in disbelief in the theater. We are talking magnum opus level scenes. Career-defining, pop culture impacting scenes. Scenes so rich in flavor and talent they will have entire university courses and papers dedicated to them. This movie dares to do some truly batshit insane stuff, constantly testing the audience and pulling them deeper and deeper into its MSG level of artistry. Now the thing is, if I put you on a highway, let's say a good German Autobahn, I give you a Porsche and let you go 100 kilometers an hour, let's say. That shit is sick. Sick car, nice roads, good speed. Now I give you a 2-kilometer section where you can go unlimited, like really pull the throttle. You feel like you're no longer human, amalgamated with the car and its sheer horsepower. Now the 2-kilometer stretch is over and you're back at 100 km/h. The 100 doesn't seem that good anymore, right? And that's an issue critics seem to have with Sinners, one I equally felt watching it the first time. The movie still has blockbuster tropes. Its artistic Renaissance level highs come in bursts. They transport you into a movie world and you're loving it, but then eventually it has to return to its blockbuster nature. Going from a movie scene you've never ever seen conceptualized like this before to a dialogue scene rehashing a concept the film has established several times, it's a little disjointed. Now you might be getting annoyed that I'm seemingly not glazing this movie like you're used to, but hear me out. I personally think this is great. A movie that takes so many risks to thrill and awe is allowed to fall back on itself here and there. When firing on all cylinders to give us one-of-a-kind scenes, a break in retardando is allowed. Hell, I'd even say necessary, because even though it makes the less sparkly scenes seem, well, less sparkly in comparison, it does the exact same thing to the good scenes. It makes them shine even brighter. This is an experience that reminds you why you love movies, and for that I happily accept some rough pacing and dialogue if it means I can have that one scene. I kid you not, on my second viewing I shed tears seeing this scene. The joy I felt as a movie lover seeing what this movie accomplishes for cinema is indescribable. Some of my favorite movies are imperfect. They are diamonds in the rough, but diamonds nonetheless. They deny the ease of being a jack-of-all-trades film in favor of sticking the landing on some truly remarkable filmic achievements. Even that aside, the twin trick with Michael A. and Michael B. Jordan is so incredible it warrants this movie's existence even without the rest. Horror movies tend to indulge in experimental attempts more often than any other films. Maybe it's because horror movies have a track record of not having fantastic stories or incredible pacing. I guess studios and audiences give horror movies a bit of a pass on those fronts, so it's easier as a director director to experiment and hone your craft in such film. A good example is Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula by not Bram Stoker but by Francis Ford Coppola, which I already made a video about, but that movie is absurd and in parts not good at all. However, the things it does right, it does really, really right. They alienate a certain audience and throw out filmic rules to achieve something incredible and unique. Sure, some people will be turned off by this, but how boring do you have to be to hate when movies experiment for the sake of evolving cinema? I think Sinners does the same exact thing, except the audience that resonates with it is a lot bigger than expected. It's clear this movie wasn't meant to become the hit it is, and being one of the highest grossing horror movies speaks volume to Coogler's talent. Hell, it's the first ever horror movie to get an A cinema score. It paid off to do something more out of the box here, and it not only evolves horror, it also sticks out in his rather cookie-cutter filmography as something that fully utilizes his skills. This is why I love horror movies. Directors aren't afraid to do what they really want to do. They deliver their best work here, and time again, some horror movies show up to blow our minds. We don't need perfection in film. We need aspiration, courage, and creativity. We also need more directors and crews with actual cultural ties and concepts. I'm so fucking sick and tired of unseasoned boiled chicken with ketchup directors. And yes, you can use that fuck-ass Martin Freeman pick from Black Panther. I don't care, it's true. Let people with strong cultural heritage make movies about cultural heritage. Anyway, I love horror movies. I love imperfect movies. I love when movies are about emotional and artistic expression. Go watch Sinners and go support creative movies. Konosuda Sam out.